Alan Forrest looked out the window of his small apartment one last time. The rain fell hard on the city. It was a normal Earth day. But for Alan, nothing would be normal again. His phone rang. He picked it up and saw it was from the United Nations office. "Ambassador Forrest, your transport will arrive in 30 minutes, said the voice on the phone. Alan still felt strange when they called him ambassador. For most of his life, people had called him sergeant or sir. He had been a Marine for 15 years. He had fought in wars. He had led men and women into battle. But he had never expected to become Earth's first ambassador to the stars. 6 months ago, the aliens had come. They arrived in giant ships that filled the sky. Everyone thought it was the end of the world. But the aliens didn't want to fight. They wanted to talk. They called themselves the Galactic Confederation. They were a group of over 300 alien species who worked together. They had been watching Earth for a long time. Now they wanted Earth to join them. There was just one problem. They were afraid of humans. The aliens had a special name for Earth. They called it a Class 12 Deathworld. This meant it was one of the most dangerous planets they had ever found. The gravity was too strong. The weather was too wild. The animals were too fierce. Even the tiny germs could kill most aliens. And the humans? The aliens thought humans were the scariest things of all. Alan packed his last bag. He didn't take much. Some clothes, some books, a picture of his parents. He didn't need much where he was going. The Confederation would give him everything he needed. A knock came at the door. Alan opened it to find Lisa Reyes standing there. She was his new assistant. She had been a peace worker in war zones. She had helped make deals between fighting countries. Now she would help Alan make deals with aliens. "Are you ready?" Lisa asked. She was a small woman with short black hair and kind eyes. But Alan knew she was tough. You had to be tough to do the work she had done. "As ready as I'll ever be," Alan said. "I still think they picked the wrong guy. I'm a soldier, not a talker." Lisa smiled. "That's why they picked you. You know how to stay calm when things get scary, and things will get scary." They walked out to the waiting car. It was big and black with dark windows. It took them to a special airport where a small airplane was waiting. "Where are we going?" Alan asked as they got on the plane. "New Mexico," Lisa said. "That's where the Confederation shuttle will pick us up." The plane ride was short. When they landed, they were taken to a big, empty field. There were soldiers all around with guns. They were there to protect the landing site. The shuttle. "We'll be here in 10 minutes, said a man in a suit. He gave Alan and Lisa each a small metal pin. "Put these on. They will help the aliens understand you. They can change your words into alien words." Alan put the pin on his shirt. It felt warm. A few minutes later, the sky lit up. A small silver ship came down from the clouds. It was shaped like a teardrop and it made no sound. It landed softly on the grass. A door opened in the side of the ship. A tall, thin alien stepped out. It had 6 arms and blue skin. Its head was small with big, black eyes. "Ambassador Forrest, Assistant Reyes," the alien said in a high, singing voice. "I am Transport Officer Zick. I will take you to the Harmony of Stars station." Alan took a deep breath and walked toward the ship. Lisa followed close behind. The inside of the ship was strange. The seats were too small, the ceiling was too low. Everything was made for being smaller and lighter than humans. "Please sit," said Officer Zick. "The journey will take 8 hours." Alan and Lisa sat down carefully on seats that felt like they might break. Officer Zick touched some lights on a wall, and the ship began to rise. "Why did they pick me?" Alan asked Lisa when the alien had gone to another part of the ship. "There are smarter people, better talkers." "The president told me," Lisa said. "The aliens are scared of us because we're strong and tough. They think we might be dangerous. So Earth wanted to send someone who looks strong but knows how to be gentle. Someone who understands fighting but wants peace." Alan nodded. It made sense now. The aliens saw humans as monsters from a nightmare world. They needed to see that these monsters could be kind. The ship went faster and faster. Soon, the blue sky turned black as they left Earth behind. Alan looked out a small window and saw his home planet getting smaller. "What do you think they're really like?" he asked. "I've read the reports," Lisa said. "Most of them come from worlds much nicer than Earth. Planets with no big storms or earthquakes. No dangerous animals. No diseases. They never had to become tough like us." "So they're soft?" Alan asked. "Different," Lisa corrected. "They built this huge confederation without being tough like us. That means they're smart in ways we might not understand." The ship flew past the moon. Soon Earth was just a small blue dot in the darkness. Officer Zik returned. "We have received a message from the Diplomatic Council. There will be a welcome ceremony when we arrive. Many important people will be there to meet you." "Thank you," Alan said. "We're looking forward to it." When the alien left again, Alan whispered to Lisa, "I'm not good at ceremonies." "Just be yourself," Lisa said. "That's why they chose you, to show the aliens what humans are really like." Alan looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there was the Harmony of Stars station, where hundreds of alien species worked together. And, now for better or worse, humans would join them. He thought about Earth, the Deathworld, the planet that had made humans strong enough to survive anything. He hoped that strength would be enough for what was coming. "Here we go," he said quietly. Lisa nodded. "Here we go." The ship flew on into the darkness, carrying the first humans to join the stars. The alien ship slowed down as it approached the Harmony of Stars. Alan and Lisa looked out the small window in wonder. The space station was huge, a giant ring of silver and crystal spinning slowly in space. Hundreds of small ships moved around, it like bees around a hive. "It's beautiful," Lisa whispered. Alan nodded. He had seen many things in his life, but nothing like this. The station must have been at least 10 miles across. Small lights twinkled all along its surface. "We will dock in 10 minutes," Officer Zik said. "Please prepare yourselves for the welcome ceremony." Alan straightened his uniform. The Earth Council had given him special clothes to wear. They were dark blue with gold buttons and the Earth flag on the shoulder. The clothes felt stiff and uncomfortable, but Alan knew appearances mattered. The ship slowed even more and then gently connected to the station with a soft bump. The door opened and cool air flowed in. It smelled strange, like flowers and metal. "Follow me," Officer Zik said. Alan and Lisa stepped out of the ship into a large room. The ceiling was high and the walls were a soft white color. About 20 aliens stood waiting for them. They were all different shapes and sizes. Some had many arms, some had no arms at all. Some were tall and thin, others were short and round. Their skin was blue, green, purple, and colors Alan had no names for. One alien stepped forward. It was about 5 feet tall with 4 arms and silvery skin. It wore a long purple robe with strange symbols on it. "Ambassador Forrest, Assistant Reyes," the alien said in a musical voice. "I am Ambassador Cleavol of the Vritk. I welcome you to the Harmony of Stars on behalf of the Galactic Confederation." Alan noticed that all the aliens kept their distance. Even Ambassador Cleavol stood about 10 feet away. "Thank you for your welcome," Alan said, remembering his training. "Earth is honored to be invited to join the Confederation." Cleavol made a gesture with 2 of its 4 hands. "We will show you to your quarters now. You must be tired from your journey." They followed the ambassador down long hallways. The floors were made of a soft material that felt like rubber. Alan noticed that he and Lisa made much more noise when they walked than the aliens did. Their footsteps sounded heavy and loud. "The gravity here is set to match Earth's," Cleavol explained. "We understand that humans need higher gravity than most species." "Thank you," Lisa said. "That's very thoughtful." 2 more aliens joined them as they walked. They were different from Cleavol, shorter with blue skin and large eyes. "These are Tyrell and Maz," Cleavol said. "They are scientists who have studied Earth from afar. They will help you adjust to life on the station." Tyrell moved closer to Alan, but still kept a safe distance. "Is it true that humans can lift more than twice their own body weight?" he asked. Alan shrugged. "Some can. I could in my younger days. Both scientists made a soft whistling sound that might have been surprise. And you really sleep for hours at a time, completely unconscious? Maz asked. Yes, Lisa said. About 8 hours a day. The aliens looked at each other. Fascinating, Terrell said. Most species only enter such a defenseless state for a few minutes at a time. Alan began to understand how differently their bodies worked. No wonder they were nervous around humans. They arrived at a door that slid open automatically. Inside was a room with 2 separate areas. The furniture was too small and looked fragile, but at least there were beds and chairs. These will be your quarters, Cleveall said. We have tried to make them comfortable for human needs. There is a food preparation area and a cleaning facility. Thank you, Alan said. This looks fine. Rest now, Cleveall said. Tomorrow you will meet the Diplomatic Council. They are eager to learn about Earth. After the aliens left, Alan sat, carefully on a chair, afraid it might break under his weight. Well, we made it, he said. Lisa nodded. They're really scared of us, aren't they? Wouldn't you be? To them, we're like monsters from a horror movie. We're stronger. We have more endurance. And we come from a planet that would kill them in minutes. The next morning, they were led to a large round room. 50 aliens sat in a circle, each one different from the others. In the center was a table with 2 chairs for Alan and Lisa. Ambassadors of the Galactic Confederation, Cleveall announced. I present Ambassador Alan Forrest and Assistant Lisa Reyes of Earth. The room was silent as Alan and Lisa took their seats. Alan could feel all the alien eyes watching his every move. An older-looking Vreet with gray skin stood up. I am High Counselor June. We welcome our guests from Earth. As is our custom, we invite you to tell us about your world and your people. Alan stood up slowly, trying not to make any sudden moves that might frighten the aliens. Thank you, High Counselor, he began. Earth is a diverse planet with many environments. We have oceans, mountains, deserts, and forests. Humans have adapted to live in all these places. He continued to speak about Earth, keeping his words simple. He talked about human history, about how people had spread across the planet, about their cities and farms. Then something unexpected happened. Alan felt a tickle in his nose. Before he could stop himself, he sneezed. The sound echoed in the quiet room. Immediately, 3 aliens fell off their chairs. Others backed away quickly. Some made high-pitched alarm calls. What happened? Alan whispered to Lisa. You sneezed, she whispered back. You just released millions of Earth microbes into the air. To them, that's like setting off a biological weapon. Medical staff rushed in, aliens wearing protective suits. They helped the fallen council members, who seemed to have fainted from fear. Cleveall hurried over. Perhaps we should continue this meeting another time, he said nervously. As they were led back to their quarters, Alan felt worse than he had after any battle. On his first day, he had terrified the very people he was supposed to make friends with. This is going to be harder than I thought, he said to Lisa. She nodded. We knew it would be tough. We're basically trying to convince them that the monsters under their beds are actually nice. Alan looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, the Deathworld, the planet that had made humans what they were. Strong, yes. Tough, yes. But not monsters. We'll try again tomorrow, he said. And in that moment, he made a decision. He wouldn't try to hide what humans were, but he would show the aliens that strength didn't have to mean danger, that beings from a death world could still understand peace. 3 weeks passed on the Harmony of Stars station. Slowly, things got better. Alan learned not to sneeze in public. The aliens learned that humans weren't going to crush them or break things by accident. A careful dance began between the species. Alan and Lisa were eating breakfast in their quarters when an alarm started blaring. The sound was high and sharp, hurting their ears. What's that? Lisa asked, covering her ears. The room screen lit up with the face of Ambassador Cleveall. Ambassador, Forrest, Assistant Reyes, please stay in your quarters. We have an emergency situation. What kind of emergency? Alan asked. Cleveall's 4 hands moved nervously. A group called the Purity Collective has attacked the station. They believe that Deathworlders like humans should not be allowed in the Confederation. They have taken control of several key systems. The screen went dark. Alan looked at Lisa. We need to find out what's happening. They tried the door, but it was locked. The lights flickered, and the room got colder. They're shutting down life support, Lisa said, for the whole station. Alan touched the wall. It's getting colder fast. The aliens will be in trouble before we are. Humans can handle cold better than most of them. We need to help, Lisa said. She went to a panel on the wall and pulled it open. Inside were wires and small computer parts. I worked in the Arctic for 2 years. Trust me, I know cold. She disconnected some wires and reconnected them in a new way. The door slid open. How did you do that? Alan asked. Lisa smiled. The UN made sure I knew basic ship systems before we came. The hallway outside was dark. The emergency lights gave everything a red glow. It was getting colder by the minute. They could see their breath in the air. Where should we go? Lisa asked. Alan thought for a moment. The control center. That's where the attackers will be. They moved carefully through the halls. The station was very quiet. They passed several aliens lying on the floor, shivering badly in the cold. The temperature that was just uncomfortable for humans was dangerous for the station's normal residents. They need help, Lisa said, kneeling beside a small green alien. We'll help them by stopping whoever did this, Alan said. Come on. They found a station map on a wall screen. The control center was 3 levels up. The elevators weren't working, so they had to find stairs. The air's getting thinner, Lisa said as they climbed. They must be reducing oxygen levels too. Alan nodded. He could feel it, but it wasn't bad yet. Humans evolved on a planet with changing oxygen levels. We can handle it better than most species. When they reached the right level, they heard voices. Alan held up his hand for Lisa to stop. They crept forward quietly. Around the corner, they saw 5 aliens. They weren't like any aliens Alan had seen before. They were tall, with thick arms and rough, bumpy skin. They carried weapons that looked like guns. Those must be the Purity Collective, Lisa whispered. Alan looked around. There was a maintenance panel nearby. He opened it and found tools inside. He handed a heavy wrench to Lisa and took a long metal bar for himself. What are we doing? Lisa asked. We're going to show them what Deathworlders can really do, Alan said. They moved silently toward the attackers. The aliens were focused on a door ahead of them, not paying attention to what was behind. Alan had learned in the Marines how to move without making noise. Lisa followed his lead. The aliens never heard them coming. Alan swung the metal bar, hitting the weapon out of the first attacker's hands. Lisa used the wrench to knock another attacker down. The other 3 turned in surprise, but they were too slow. Alan and Lisa moved faster than the aliens could react. In less than a minute, all 5 attackers were on the floor. Tie them up, Alan said, finding some cable in a nearby panel. When the attackers were secure, Alan and Lisa continued toward the control center. The door was locked, but Lisa knew how to bypass it. When it opened, they found 10 more attackers inside. They were holding guns on a group of Confederation officials. Stop right there, one of the attackers shouted when they saw Alan and Lisa. Alan didn't stop. He walked forward calmly. You've made a big mistake, he said. You wanted to keep Deathworlders out of the Confederation because you think we're dangerous. Well, guess what? We are dangerous, but only to people who threaten others. The attackers pointed their weapons at Alan. Don't come any closer or we'll shoot, one of them said. Alan kept walking. You've shut down life support. The temperature is dropping. The air is getting thin. You know who that hurts? Not us. Humans can survive these conditions, but all those other species out there, the ones you claim to protect, they're dying. The attackers looked confused. They hadn't expected the humans to be walking around so easily in conditions that had most station residents unconscious. Alan moved suddenly, faster than the aliens could follow. He grabbed the nearest attacker's weapon and pulled it away. The other attackers fired their weapons, but Alan was already moving. He dodged the shots and charged into them like a football player. Lisa ran to the control panel and started pushing buttons. "I can restore life support," she called. 3 attackers tried to stop her, but Alan was there, pulling them back. He wasn't trying to hurt them, just keep them away from Lisa. Still, his human strength was too much for them. They couldn't break his grip. "Hurry," Alan said to Lisa as he held the struggling aliens. Lisa's fingers flew over the controls. "Done. Life support is coming back online." Station security forces arrived a few minutes later. They were shocked to find the humans had already captured the attackers and restored life support. "How did you do this?" the security chief asked. The atmosphere was toxic and the temperature was near freezing. Alan shrugged. "We're from Earth. That's a normal Tuesday for us." Over the next few hours, the station returned to normal. The temperature rose, the air got better. Aliens who had been unconscious began to wake up. Ambassador Cleveall found Alan and Lisa in the medical center, where they were helping treat injured station residents. "You saved us all," Cleveall said, keeping a respectful distance but closer than ever before. When the Purity Collective attacked, they thought that making the station cold and reducing oxygen would stop everyone. They didn't understand what Deathworlders can do. Alan nodded. "Humans are tough because our world is tough, but we also learned something important on Earth. The strong must protect the weak. That's what makes a real civilization." Cleveall was quiet for a moment. Then the alien did something surprising. It reached out one of its 4 hands and gently touched Alan's shoulder. "Perhaps," Cleveall said, "we have misunderstood Deathworlders. We saw only the danger. We did not see the protection you could offer." Word spread quickly through the station. The humans from the Deathworld had saved everyone. The same strength that had made other species fear humans had also saved their lives. That night, as Alan and Lisa rested in their quarters, Lisa said, "I think we just changed how the Confederation sees humans." Alan smiled. "I think we did. They were afraid of our strength. Now they see it can be used to help." Outside their window, the stars shone brightly. Somewhere among them was Earth, the death world that had made humans what they were. Not monsters, but protectors. Not a threat to the galaxy, but perhaps its greatest hope. Everything changed after the attack. Aliens who had once stayed far away from Alan and Lisa now approached them to say thank you. Some even asked to touch their hands or arms, curious about the beings who had saved them. One morning, Ambassador Cleveall came to their quarters with news. "The High Council wishes to speak with you," Cleveall said. "It is a great honor." Alan and Lisa followed the 4-armed alien through hallways they had never seen before. These were wider and taller, with beautiful art on the walls. They entered a large round room with a high ceiling made of glass. Through it, they could see the stars and the curve of the station ring. In the center of the room was a table with 12 aliens sitting around it. They were all different species. Some were small with brightly colored skin. Others were large with extra limbs or strange features. All of them watched as the humans entered. The oldest-looking alien stood up. It was tall with gray skin that seemed to shimmer. Its eyes were large and golden. "Ambassador Forrest, Assistant Reyes," it said in a deep voice. "I am First Speaker Zol of the High Council. We have asked you here to thank you for your actions during the attack. You saved many lives." "We did what anyone would do," Alan said. Zol made a sound like soft bells. "No, not anyone. Only beings from a world like yours could have done what you did. We have misjudged Deathworlders." Another council member spoke up. This one was short with blue scales. "We have always believed that species from harsh worlds would be too aggressive, too dangerous to join our community. We were wrong." Alan felt Lisa touch his arm gently, a signal to be careful with his words. This was important. "Earth is a difficult world," Alan said. "It has made humans strong and tough, but it also taught us to work together, to protect each other. Without that, we would not have survived." Zol nodded slowly. "The Scientific Council has studied your planet's history. You have had many wars, but also great acts of kindness. Your people build shelters for the homeless. You save animals from extinction. You risk your lives for strangers. That's what civilization means to us. Lisa said, using our strength to help others, not hurt them. The council members talked among themselves in soft voices. Then Zol spoke again. We have made a decision. We wish to learn more about humans and Earth. We would like to establish a cultural exchange program, and we wish to invite other Deathworld species to join the Confederation. Alan was surprised. There are other Deathworld species? Yes, said the blue-scaled council member. 3 others that we know of. We have observed them but never approached them. We were too afraid. Will you help us? Zol asked. Will you show us how to welcome them? Alan looked at Lisa, who nodded. We would be honored, he said. Over the next few days, Alan and Lisa met with scientists, teachers, and diplomats. They answered endless questions about Earth and humans. How did humans sleep for so long? Why did they enjoy spicy food that would burn alien mouths? How could they live in places with such extreme weather? In return, they learned about the Confederation. It had existed for over 10,000 Earth years. It included more than 300 species from 250 planets. Most of these worlds were gentle places with mild weather and few dangers. No wonder they were scared of us, Lisa said one evening as they looked at pictures of alien homeworlds. The images showed beautiful planets with calm oceans and soft breezes. No hurricanes, no earthquakes, no dangerous animals. They never had to become tough, Alan said. They became smart instead. They built amazing technology. They learned to work together without fighting. And now they need us, Lisa said. There are parts of the galaxy that are dangerous even to them. Places with radiation or extreme conditions. Places where humans could go. A week later, a special meeting was called. The main gathering hall was filled with aliens from all over the station. Alan and Lisa stood on a stage with the High Council members. First speaker Zol addressed the crowd. For too long we have feared the Deathworlders. We saw only their strength and resilience. We did not see their compassion, their willingness to protect others. Today we begin a new chapter in our history. Zol gestured to Alan, who stepped forward. The crowd went silent. I come from Earth, Alan began. A world you call a death world. Yes, it has storms and earthquakes. Yes, it has dangerous animals and diseases. But that world shaped humans into what we are. We learned to survive by working together, by helping each other. He looked out at the sea of alien faces. They weren't afraid anymore, they were listening. Humans are strong because we need to be, Alan continued. Our world demanded it. But strength without kindness is just brutality. True strength comes from protecting others, from using your power to help, not harm. The room was completely silent. Every alien was watching him. The Confederation has built something amazing, Alan said. You have peace among hundreds of species. You have technology we can only dream of. You have wisdom gathered over thousands of years. Earth wants to be part of that. We want to learn from you. And yes, we want to help protect you when needed. Lisa stepped forward to stand beside him. Together, she said, we can be more than either of us could be alone. Your wisdom and our strength, your technology and our adaptability. First speaker Zol joined them. Today we welcome Earth as a full member of the Galactic Confederation, and we announce the formation of the Deathworld Cooperative, a new initiative, to invite other strong species to join us. Ambassador Forrest will lead this effort. The room filled with sounds of approval. Different species made different noises, whistles, clicks, hums, and chimes. But the meaning was clear. They were happy as Alan looked out at the crowd. He thought about how far they had come, from being feared as monsters to being welcomed as protectors. From being seen as threats to being seen as partners. Outside the windows of the hall, the stars shone brightly. Among them was Earth, the death world. The world that had made humans tough enough to survive anything, and kind enough to use that toughness to help others. A new chapter begins, Alan said quietly to Lisa. She smiled. Not just for humans and the Confederation, but for all the Deathworlders out there. In that moment, Alan knew that the galaxy would never be the same again. The species that had once been feared would now help protect the great peace of the stars. The monsters from the Deathworlds would become the guardians of the galaxy, and it had all started with a sneeze in a council meeting. 1 year had passed since humans joined the Galactic Confederation. Alan stood by a large window on the New Earth Embassy, a special section of the Harmony of Stars station, built just for human visitors and workers. He watched as ships came and went. Some were Confederation vessels. Others were from Earth, bringing more humans to work and learn among the stars. "Quite a view, isn't it?" Lisa said as she joined him. Alan nodded. "I never thought we'd come this far so quickly." Lisa smiled. "Well, saving everyone from terrorists helped speed things up." They both laughed. So much had changed in a year. The fear that aliens once had of humans was mostly gone. Now, over 50 alien species had representatives working directly with humans. Some brave aliens had even visited Earth, protected by special suits that helped them survive the higher gravity and different air. "The Rizzuans are arriving today," Lisa said. "Are you ready?" Alan nodded. The Rizzuans were another Deathworld species. Their planet had even stronger gravity than Earth and fierce storms that could tear buildings apart. The beings who evolved there were short and very strong, with thick skin that could resist extreme pressures. The Confederation had watched them for centuries but been too afraid to make contact until now. "I still can't believe they put me in charge of the Deathworld Cooperative," Alan said. "Who better?" Lisa asked. "You showed them that being strong doesn't mean being dangerous." They walked through the embassy to the meeting room. Inside, several humans and aliens were waiting. The humans were all specialists, scientists, diplomats, and language experts. The aliens were the bravest members of the Confederation, those willing to work closely with Deathworlders. "The Rizzuan ship will dock in 10 minutes, announced Cleavol, who had become a close friend to the humans. "They are very excited to meet you." "And nervous too, I bet," Alan said. Cleavol made the soft bell sound that was their laugh. "Yes, though perhaps not as nervous as we were meeting you. After all, they are used to strong beings. They've never met fragile ones like us before." That was something Alan had come to understand over the past year. To the Rizzuans, most Confederation species must seem delicate and weak. The misunderstandings could go both ways. When the Rizzuan ship docked, everyone waited eagerly. The door opened and 3 beings entered the room. They were about 4 feet tall with wide, powerful bodies. Their skin was deep red with patterns of yellow. They had 4 eyes, 2 large ones in front and 2 smaller ones on the sides of their heads. "Welcome to the Harmony of Stars," Alan said, stepping forward. "I am Ambassador Forrest of Earth." The lead Rizzuan stepped forward. Its voice was deep and rumbling. "I am Speaker Gruz of Rizzu. We thank you for this invitation. For a long time we thought we were alone as, what do you call it? Deathworlders?" Alan nodded. "That's what the Confederation calls planets like ours. Worlds that are harder, more dangerous than most." Gruz made a rumbling sound that might have been a laugh. "Yes. When we first built ships and went to the stars, we found no one who could visit our world. No one who understood what it meant to evolve on a planet that tries to kill you every day." "We understand," Alan said. "Earth isn't as harsh as Rizzu, but it's harsh enough." The meeting went well. The Rizzuans were direct and honest, qualities that humans appreciated. By the end of the day, agreements were made for cultural exchanges and trade. Earth would send teachers to help the Rizzuans understand the Confederation better. Rizzu would share their technology for surviving extreme conditions. Later that evening, Alan sat with Lisa and Cleavol in the Earth Embassy's garden. It was a special place where plants from Earth grew under carefully controlled conditions. The aliens found it beautiful, but slightly frightening. Some Earth plants had thorns or poisonous parts. "The Deathworld Cooperative is growing," Cleavol said. "First humans, now Rizzuans. And soon the Voltar and the Creed will join." Alan nodded. The Voltar came from a world with high radiation levels that would kill most species. The Creed evolved on a planet with toxic gases in the air. 4 Deathworld species working together, Lisa said. Who would have thought it possible? Clevel touched a flower gently with one finger. The Confederation needed you, though we didn't know it. For thousands of years we avoided the dangerous parts of the galaxy. We feared the harsh planets and the beings who evolved there. We thought they would be as harsh as their worlds. Some are, Alan admitted. Not every human is kind. Not every Rizwan is honest. But most of us understand something that comes from living on difficult worlds. What is that? Clevel asked. That survival depends on helping each other, Alan said. That strength means nothing if it isn't used to protect. A message came through on Alan's communicator. It was from Earth. The first Confederation scientists had just arrived at the new research base in Antarctica. They wanted to study how Earth plants and animals survived in such cold conditions. More brave aliens visiting our Deathworld, Lisa said with a smile. Alan remembered his first days on the station, how the aliens had kept their distance, how they had fainted when he sneezed. Now they were visiting Earth, studying its harshness, learning from it. And humans were changing too. They were learning from the peaceful Confederation. They were seeing new ways to solve problems without fighting. They were finding their place among the stars. I got a message from the Science Council today, Clevel said. They have a proposal for the Deathworld Cooperative. What kind of proposal? Alan asked. There are places in the galaxy that no Confederation species can explore. Places with extreme conditions. The Council wants to send a joint mission. Humans, Rizwans, Voltars, and Creed working together to explore these areas. Alan smiled. From being feared to being needed, that's quite a change. The galaxy is vast, Clevel said. It needs all kinds of beings to explore it. Those from gentle worlds and those from harsh ones, working together. As night fell on the Yoi, station lights came on in the garden. Alan looked up through the clear ceiling at the stars. Somewhere out there, Earth continued its journey around the sun. The Deathworld that had shaped humanity made them strong enough to survive anything and compassionate enough to help others survive too. A toast, Lisa said, raising her drink. To the Deathworld Cooperative. May we never forget where we came from or where we're going. To the Deathworld Cooperative, Alan and Clevel said together. In that moment, Alan thought about how strange life was. He had been chosen as ambassador because humans were feared. Now they were respected and even admired. The very traits that had made others afraid, their strength, their resilience, their adaptability, were now seen as gifts to be shared. The Deathworld ambassador had indeed shaken the galaxy, but not through force or fear, through understanding and cooperation, through showing that even beings from the harshest worlds could work for peace among the stars. And that was just the beginning.